Brother, are you all right?
No, I am not all right. I just shared a bottle of Kanar with Damar. That rhymes.
You're drunk.
Of course I'm drunk.
Greetings and salutations, good friends. We have Leon to blame for that one because, you know, there are times I really don't want to defend some people, but there are some topics that come up and the person presenting it just... To say they're lazy in their research would be a bit of an understatement. I'm all good for giving people flack when it's deserved. I'm all for asking questions when you don't understand the situation that's going on. But when you make a video about someone solely because, oh, hey, my subscriber count has passed them and we talk about the same topic, so I'm going to take a dump on them. At least have your facts straight. Oh, no. That, actually, the distinction between them is rather interesting, but at about the 5 to 6 minute mark of Major Kill's video, talking about Arch, it's like, oh, look, he lost a shitload of video views. What happened? Oh, look, a lot of videos are gone from his channel. Why did that happen? You know, it's almost like Arch actually did a video explaining why that was about to happen. That was publicly available for damn near a month before he did it.
Patreon stuff, automation stuff from mods.
Oh,
and
that...
the guy in the fucking video showing the thumbnail for the thing. Oh wait.
They can hear you now. So, gotta love Windows updates when it reverts everything without telling you.
Yeah. No, but with the fucking thing that he showed, with the exact video that he showed, he was showing a video where there was an update, just specifying exactly what was happening there. And what Arch was saying was backed up by the fucking game studio. They themselves put that shit out. They themselves said what was actually happening. And then here comes Major Kill, being a fucking major retard, going on about it being, oh, but, oh, what, this didn't happen. No, he doesn't research his stuff. No, he just throws shit out there. He's just trying to be edgy. Exactly what he said was going to be there was what was actually there. Why?
Yeah, It seems like Major Kill has the same affliction that a number of other YouTubers and social mediaites have, where they cannot get any sort of validation or self-gratification that they have to go to these platforms to do it. And the way they do that is by looking at the numbers, looking at the metrics, looking at whatever arbitrary quantifiable measure that they can have available to them to essentially justify their existence. And sorry, if you're doing that, if that is actually the root cause of what you're doing in the online sphere, get help. You need it. You have bigger issues psychologically to deal with. That this whole thing that is the internet and interactions on it are not going to help you. If anything, they are going to hurt you. And holy boy, are you fucked if you're doing it for a living.
Most of these people have been at it for so long that they don't know how to do anything else. They don't know how to actually deal with, people. As with the whole, oh yes, he's just trying to have edgy humor. No, that's our humor here. That's humor or humor that's typical for the Nordic countries, for the Scandinavian countries. It's like bringing up an Australian saying cunt to something, and then you have some fucking American going at him with, oh, but he's trying to be sexist now. He said cunt. That means that he's disrespectful to women. No, it's just a word. It's part of the culture. It's part of the vernacular. It's how you use it.
That is actually one thing that I picked up on the non-lore side of his content from Arch, is that yeah, he can be abrasive, but it's a direct result of the culture he's grown up in, the social environment he's been in, and who he is as a person, and not in a detrimental or nefarious way. It's the dark, kind of abrasive humor that honestly helps you deal with a number of situations and uncomfortable scenarios that otherwise would make people fall apart. And maybe that's part of it, is a lot of these people that don't get it or don't want to get it have such weak and fragile egos and self-images that how dare anything come along to threaten their precious sensibilities.
Yeah, something like that here, though. That is the norm here. That isn't even something that's outside the box here. That's the norm. And just imagine now that you have people who take offense at it. I mean, just look at the server. Look at the kinds of people who've been taking offense at, well, a few of those things I've been saying. They're too fucking sensitive to even see that, okay, it's words, they don't really matter that much. You have to really look at the actions to see what's been going on. And then we have the whole thing with someone leaving the server because they can't take a gas joke.
A joke that was said on a stream that they were viewing and had no problem with then.
Yeah, and then for some reason, when it came to actually being in the server itself, they all of a sudden were, really upset over it. Because why not? You really have to be upset over that. Yeah, you can see the kind of people who do these kinds of things, and then feign offense over it. Or, oh yeah, but that's so bad. Like saying that Arch had a sexist, what's it called? Not intro picture, the thumbnail thingy, for when he was playing Jedi Fallen Order. And the fucking picture was one of the villains in the game, a female, having a tear over her ass, showing her panties, after a fucking fight.
And wasn't that taken from the game itself? At least
was drawn.
Well, but it was
the
something that actually
circumstances.
would happen in the game.
Not with the situation there with the holes in the clothes that way. Since, as you remember, no underwear in Star Wars.
That is actually a fact that I have been kind of oblivious to. I was not aware of that whole aspect of Star Wars. Maybe it is the franchise for me after all.
Yeah, you have to go back first and look at the original trilogy. Especially certain parts of the last movie there. Somewhere around the beginning.
You mean where there might be a certain bathing suit styled outfit on a particular person?
Maybe.
See, okay. At first I thought you were referencing the first installment, which was Well, that was kind of the thing in the 70s. At least the upper half of clothing option. Oh.
The other one is more special. Way more special.
And it's also why she gave the advice to Daisy Ridley, don't let them do this to you.
Yep. You don't have to go the complete opposite.
Now, you know how those people are when it comes to moderation and sensible course corrections.
What's that?
Yeah, exactly. It's all or nothing.
I was gonna say the course correct what?
Oh no, they do course correct off the fucking cliff.
What's that by Meatloaf? It's all or nothing, and nothing's all I ever get.
And you know, sometimes it's better off that way. Because while it may seem like the grass is greener on the other side, it might just be spray paint.
I think that the worst thing with the whole Daisy Ridley thing is that she's more of a fucking plank than Kirsten Stewart. She is so uninteresting. And I'm not saying that as, oh, she should have shown more skin. No, she has one expression, and it's bewildered confusion at best.
You know, I will give this to Daisy, though, over Kristen Stewart. When her character actually emoted in a way, yes, it was way over the top. But she could at least emote.
Was it in a good way, though?
I didn't say it was good.
When it more resembles the things we were looking at the other day with the facial animations for fucking Mass Effect Andromeda.
That... Maybe that's where the director got the inspiration for Rey.
I would not be surprised.
But when, we are a good 15 minutes into this and actually haven't even come close to broaching the actual topic that it's supposed to be.
Wait, we were supposed to try and broach that topic? What?
I mean, there is another YouTuber that, yeah, I'm blaming you for this one too there, Leon, because you were the one who shared the video.
That's not really being very specific.
Oh, lore. And his whole view of what is and is not a death trap.
Well, we do have that.
As he decided to do a video going off on Starship design by the Federation, which... Okay, to say that there have been stylistic issues with some of the starships that have made it to screen in Star Trek, I would not disagree with you, Jaeger class. But to try to categorize pretty much all of the Federation ships as death traps is being kind of ignorant of the situation that they're in and the conditions that the ships are operating under. Let me start out by asking this question this way. Jay, you were in the submarine fleet. Would you say that the common region of operations for the submarine outside of the hull of the ship would be considered hazardous to human survival?
Just a tiny bit.
Do you think that matters fuck all with the location of the command center?
No.
And yet that has been Lore Reloaded's primary complaint about Federation starships of, oh, why do you have the bridge right here exposed? Because when you're in space and you have a hull breach, it really doesn't fucking matter much.
Yeah, because, I mean, if you think about it, you have a hull breach on a submarine. It doesn't matter where on the submarine it is. You're fucked. And with a command structure in, all right, I would say that if you're going to critique the placement, the only thing that I would complain about it is not having it more centrally located in the saucer sections. So more like middle decks of the saucer section, because you don't really need to be up at the top. And much like the way the Virginia class is going with their command center, their control, whatever you want to call it,
Redoing the layout to make it better for situational awareness and reaction.
Yeah.
Which I can agree with that. I mean, on your average ship of the line, you would prefer that your hub of decision making is easily and centrally accessible in the event that your communication paths are cut and you need to quite literally use a runner to spread the information.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is one of those things though where if you look at it with, say, for example, starships and spaceships and all that stuff, one thing that he also mentioned was to actually have a spaceship with windows. His reasoning for that being that even if all sensors etc. go down, you can still in that case see outside, which essentially won't really do diddly squat, since if something is 100,000 kilometers away, you won't be able to see it unless it's the fucking size of a planet. Or at least you won't be able to make it out properly. That being said though, I can see this being one of those things where if you want to have a bridge for, say for example, Starship, you want it as centrally located as possible with the main bridge. For the simple reason that if something happens, if you happen to, say, crash land, or you happen to be in a situation where, say for example, we need to get really close to this other ship, to the point where you might actually ram them, you don't want to accidentally, in that case, scrape off the bridge. There's no real reason to have to actually need an outwards located bridge of a ship. Quite opposite, I'd say. Hello, Davros.
Yeah, the primary thing that I use as the argument against a whole, oh, well, if sensors go down, you can just use windows. If an object is close enough for you to be able to visually detect it with your average human vision in space, you're fucked. There's no other way to put it. If it is close enough for you to visually detect it, it has long been in firing range. Yeah, the hero shots we get are pretty and all, but they're not exactly realistic to the actual engagement distances and everything that you would actually get and what you would actually see. But having things scaled appropriately doesn't make for good viewing experience on TV.
Unless you want to make it more similar to Dustboard.
True, but
now that microphone's back,
yay!
Because things decide to swap regularly.
Oh, don't you love that?
Go and look at the architecture of some of the ships throughout the ages where the actual bridge is located. It is not on the top deck of the actual saucer.
Are we talking about Star Trek spaceships here now, or are we talking about other ships?
No, I'm talking about actual Star Trek spaceships. The bridge itself is not actually on the top deck of the saucer. Go look. You'll see that the main viewing window, which they use, is usually about 5 to 10 levels below the top of the saucer.
Now, so but let's start with hero ships. Voyager, the major versions of the Enterprise, the E, D, A, and Original, and even the B. Let's throw the Excelsior in there. And even the Defiant. The bridge is on deck 1. Where it gets murky and where a lot of people get confused, especially from that era of Starship visual design for the shows, is they actually don't have an actual window. They have the view screen, but there's it's not a window. It's like your computer display.
Yeah, it's an enclosed unit.
Yeah, and because of that, especially the 1701, the Refit, and the Enterprise A, there was actually a service crawl space behind the view screen between it and the outer skin of the ship. But it was still deck A. And the only thing above them was part of the sensor suite that was above the center ring of the bridge. Even on the Nebula, even on the Ambassador class, that the Enterprise D was the first one shown in canon on the show to actually have a window on the bridge, and it was directly above the captain's head. It was not the view screen.
Yes, it's so we could see the second star to the left and continue on till morning. But if you actually look at some of the other variants of certain ships, some of the, well, how would they call it? The mismatches that they made in the 2300s?
Oh, the
late 2300s?
The kit bashes?
Yeah. Yeah. You look at some of them and you actually see that what was known as the officer decks, which is usually where the command center was, would be underneath. Like they flipped them over.
In Discovery, they did that with a couple of ships, where the bridge was actually where the lower sensor dome was on the underside of the saucer.
Yeah, above the deflector.
Yeah. Which...
Yeah, but here's the thing. You know, them saying that, like, the command center was unsafe. Have they seen the bridge of a warship?
It's kind of the first target, no matter where it is.
Yeah, but it's look, no seat belts, no handrails, no safety nets, nothing, right? And it's at the top of a fucking ship.
I do have a correction to make there. The actual maneuvering bridge, the bridge where the captain of the aircraft carrier goes, not the admiral's bridge, the captain's bridge, his chair actually did have a seatbelt. But his was the only fucking one that I saw.
Yeah, we had seatbelts on ours.
Yeah, but okay, so when you're under the water and you're sinking, what fucking good is a seatbelt?
The seatbelt's more for the angles and dangles parts of things.
Yeah, keep you in place. And
anyone would think you lived on a globe or something. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I've been stabbed by several pairs of dividers because people don't put them back right. Bastards.
What? They forget to latch them in place?
That's the officers mostly. They just plop them on the plot table and it's like,
Oh, because they don't have your undivided attention. I'm horrible.
Generally, with a commissioning comes an undue air of superiority for some of them. Which is generally why I preferred working for the officers who were termed Mustangs, who were prior enlisted, and not the Academy grads.
Yeah, but quick question for you, you boaties. Where on a ship is the conning tower always put? Oh, that's right. Top of the deck.
The place with the easiest view and best view for general direction.
There's kind of a difference here too, though, because you're moving in a 2D space. Well, for all intents and purposes, when it comes to that.
Yeah, whereas in space you're going to have that third axis of direction that you can go, which is where they don't use a window. They use in real the better versions of Star Trek, they don't use a window as the view screen. They actually use essentially a glorified, and in the case of TNG Onward, a 3D viewing screen. So think about watching a movie in 3D, but you don't need the special glasses to do it.
Yeah, basically what would you call it? Like a large IMAX screen.
Yeah.
Curved. Yeah. But this is the thing, right? Why on earth would they say, do a sensor sweep, do a long range scan, do this, do that, then put it on monitor? Why would they say put it on monitor if it was a window? Or put it up on the view screen?
Yeah.
Instead of put it up on the window, you know?
Well, the window part does come in later on too, because we now have STD and shit like that too.
Yeah, that's a different timeline. That's a different era of a different philosophy of design that really just bastardized. But yeah, there you have your bridge module right there, top and center, which yes, does make it a tempting target.
Yes, but if your enemy is below you, they're going to hit your front deflector shield, your sensor arrays, your front-facing photon torpedo tubes. You know, and most of your phasers are on the top deck, and your missiles and shit down the bottom. So,
But at the same time, if you happen to have, cloaking technology, you can go in there before they even know what's happening there, and take out the bridge.
yeah, which is why when they discovered which Star Trek was it, that there was a Klingon bird of prey that was able to fire while cloaked.
As one of the plot points in 6, The Undiscovered Country. But what I don't get with that is the follow-on. They admitted that there is only the prototype in existence. Why didn't the Klingons pick back up where they left off after realizing how the prototype had failed?
No scientists?
Probably because the United Federation of Planets turned around and said, no. Goes against the conventions of the Accords.
Well, no, and that's what I was actually going to point to, is it was immediately preceding the establishment and signing of the Khitomer Peace Accords. Because that was a conference that was going on. It was the peace conference at Khitomer.
Yes. And actually, speaking of which, doing the futures timeline in STO, when they go and revisit the Khitomer Accords and everyone gets massacred, I find that quite funny.
So here's the outgoing fast attack class submarines for the U.S. Navy. The Los Angeles class, and you'll see that you have control basically right here, sonar room here, probably the sonar equipment space, berthing, torpedo room, all that fun stuff. When you look on the Virginia class, it's actually a deck below, and it's all because specifically they're using photonic masts instead of traditional optical periscopes.
What? You mean they put technology in these things? Oh my goodness. It's almost like we learn stuff.
Well, at least they were smart not to use a Sony controller.
Now, didn't they go with Xbox?
Yes, they did.
Oh my god. What? Why? Why?
Could
Far
be
superior hand
worse.
comfort when playing.
What? Are you?
They based off the 360, not the Xbox One.
No. Okay. So, name me the one console that hasn't really changed its controller.
You mean in
PlayStation
layout?
because they don't care about the ergonomics. That's why Xbox is constantly changing theirs.
Have you got a PS5?
No, because I don't want a
Right.
piece of shit sitting on my desk.
Well, mine's not sitting on my desk. Mine's sitting on a stand on the floor next to my expensive computer. Oh, both of them have got a 1 terabyte NVMe in them. Oh, that's awesome.
Otherwise known as the trash bin, right?
Well, no, it's the fact that that's right. I could get my hands on one. Ah,
I can't help but see though how the PlayStation 5 controller looks like a fucking 360 controller.
why? It's still got the exact same aesthetics as the DualShock 4 did. All they've done is curve it. That's all they did. You cannot
doesn't-
trademark a fucking curve. Come on, Leon. You're better than this.
He's not talking about trademarking, but you can still cleverly steal the design from another manufacturer and tweak it just enough that it could be like, hey, no, we didn't copy their design. We did our own ergonomic research and adjusted our controller according to our findings.
Yeah, what I mean here is more that it's not really about the whole curving thing. They could use an Xbox 360 controller, arguably one of the best ergonomic controllers on the market today. Or they could have gone with a brand that's caused more fucking crab hands throughout history than anyone else.
Pornhub?
Leon.
That's
playing
the
PlayStation since
operating system.
Nine- Yeah, I've been playing since 1997 on a similar style of controller. My hands are perfectly fine.
How small hands do you have?
Ask your mum.
I would, but you wouldn't really be able to reach anything in that case. No, I have size 10 hands. I can't use a fucking PlayStation controller when it comes to DualShock and stuff like that without
Really?
getting horrible fucking crab hands. Yeah,
Wow.
they're too
Guess you
fucking
can't
small.
play the saxophone either.
I don't really want to be seen as the same as some kind of, rapist or murderer or something like that. Or whatever Klingon was.
He technically wasn't a murderer, as he wasn't the one that did it himself.
But in that case, technically Hitler wasn't a horrible dictator because he didn't pull the trigger.
Oh no, he was a horrible dictator. But that's the thing, dictators give orders. They don't actually pull the trigger unless they're making a particular statement. But not
This
many,
is why-
not many of them have the balls to do that. I wonder why.
That's why we need to go more to tribes. If you have people in power who want to do shit like that, they have to do it themselves.
Well, let's get back to this deck issue you have. I'm wondering if you're going to cork your deck.
But which ones of them, apart from the first Enterprise there with Kirk and everything, have not had the decks, or rather have not had the bridges somewhat exposed or on top?
And the closest to a defended bridge that you end up seeing in the actual Prime timeline and Prime progression of things, the Akira and Defiant actually are more recessed. Not entirely recessed and relocated within the hull of the ship, but there are bits of the hull that could be put in place of direct line of fire, unless you're coming, in the case of the Defiant, directly over top. But on the Akira, you have that aspect available to you, but also you still have a direct line of sight to the bridge from straight ahead.
With the Defiant, though, I'm willing to give that more leeway, just considering its role. It's a smaller ship. The bridge isn't really sticking out. But if you look at something like the Enterprises, or you look at, well, even Voyager and shit like that, the bridge is literally sticking up from the main hull.
Yeah, but what were they designed for? They were designed for exploration, not war.
Correct. And that's the thing. The majority of ships that we see in Star Trek, at least even the later kit bashes that they did during the Dominion War, the components they were pulling from was in one type of design mantra, a similar mindset to where defense and military action was on the back burner. Yeah, be able to defend yourself, but don't look like a warship.
Look at the Sojourner variant. That was designed as a warship.
But even then, why not have a halo on them? There's nothing keeping you from it. There's no aerodynamics to be worried about.
Yeah, the Defiant was classified as a first strike ship because it was quick and nimble.
An escort.
Yeah, but it could have 3 hard points at the front and 2 at the rear. So, yeah. And it was a modular array set on the Defiant class. So you could kit it out to be either defensive or attacking.
Yeah, there was modularity put into it that initially started out from its initially design target of the Borg to then just being able to be effective against really any potential threat. Same thing with the Akira.
Yeah, it was the fact they had, was it the ion cannons as well? See, look how far back it goes.
Yeah, so the STO 24th century design of ships, they actually bridged the gap between being in the golden era of Starfleet, in the exploratory era like TNG and early DS9, to being a bit more sensible on things, to where you can't pick out an individual compartment that's the bridge from externally on that ship right there. That is one thing that the newer variants and versions in most of the ships that are in STO that you can get are actually good at. The one outlier there that I'm aware of is the Luna class, the Titan, that they have confirmed Riker did go and be the captain of following Nemesis. So they've actually taken that from STO in the novels and put it in the actual screened medium.
You know, a lot of the stuff in STO is canon or direct from Alpha.
They use a lot of Alpha canon stuff, but a lot of their own stories are starting to bridge the gap to become Alpha canon instead of just Beta.
Yeah, the Mirror Universe stuff, that's hard to keep the continuity because of what happened in TOS and then through Discovery.
Again, if you keep Discovery and Picard as an offshoot of an offshoot timeline, then you don't have to worry about it and the conflicts that much.
Yeah, sorry, but there's this certain Captain Pike that sort of changes that aspect.
Not really, because if you look at what they've done with Pike already on screen, it still does not fall directly in line with what was already established in the Prime timeline before Discovery was a thing. So if you take Discovery as being in an alternate timeline, be it directly following Star Trek Enterprise or is an offshoot of that timeline, you can still have Pike, you can still have what we've gotten on screen and it not ruin canon, even with the parallels that could be there. I mean, it's not... But because CBS is a bunch of lying assholes and they're insisting that no, Discovery is Prime timeline, despite all these issues and glaring deficiencies and fucking problems.
I will point you to an episode in season 2 of Discovery where Captain Pike goes and gets a time crystal. You know what he saw when he touched the crystal?
Him in the wheelchair from the menagerie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and here's the thing. You can have common events across multiple timelines. Doctor Who has told us that.
I'm sorry, but you don't mix them up. You're mixing up the BBC with CBS. Jeez.
But again, you still have things that happen across timelines, even in the alternate timelines of Star Trek. You might have different outcomes of the event, but you still have certain shared events that do take place.
You've got a hard on for Davies, don't you?
No. Granted, he was the best of the recent showrunners. I don't think he's going to be able to fix it now that they've confirmed that he's back as showrunner.
Well, you can just put him, and yes, it's going to be very sexist. Put a man back in the role that has been run for 50 years as a man.
Oh, there's bigger issues than that. They got to get good quality writing of the stories in the episodes again.
Yeah, well, that's because Chibnall didn't know how to read, so that didn't help. Just saying. Just like the people who wrote the scripts for Star Trek Discovery.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't think just Davies alone is going to be able to fix it. He's really going to need to clean house, and I don't know if he's going to be able to find the writing talent to help him achieve what his goals should be.
So do we have a release date for Kenobi yet?
I think it's December timeframe, last I saw.
Or time to pump out merch for new movies coming out in 2022.
Yeah, it was... Or is that Book of Fett that's supposed to be start airing in a couple months?
I'll check it out.
No, because I'm sure, like I said last week, they finished filming, or they wrapped up filming.
Obi-Wan is not set to release until 2022.
So they don't have the date yet. So Book of Fett is the one that's coming out in the next couple months. And with them recently announcing they've wrapped filming on the Obi-Wan series, so we're probably looking February, March.
So premiere for the Book of Fett is December 29th, 2021.
That's not a good time to drop that. Sorry, just saying.
No one ever said that these studio executives were intelligent anymore.
In all honesty, like, the Book of Fett should be dropped Black Friday.
In
November.
in conjunction with a merch release, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's back when Disney actually knew how
when
to
put things out.
knew how to market and play with the merchandise thing. And that's actually something that Lucas was good at too. He recognized the merchandising potential of the franchise, and that's where most of his money was made from the original trilogy. It wasn't the movie releases themselves, it was the fucking merchandising.
Merchandise.
Merchandise.
Merchandising. That's where the real money in the movie is made. Ah, Mel Brooks.
Something too that we have to take into account here. I get the feeling that a lot of this here now isn't really about the just trying to get merchandise. It's trying to win back goodwill. Which means
sorry. Not gonna happen.
so it's something they can at least try to do it. Because right now, we've had how long now of being essentially kicked in the nuts every time we've been looking forward to a movie or whatever. The people, or the people who are actually supposed to be running it now, they have a lot of shit to actually make up for. And if they have any kind of idea at all about what they're doing, they'll be spending a lot of time now just trying to get some of that back. Try to get back through, well, releasing as fast as possible, not just trying to go for the money. Trying to do it in such a way that the fans actually get what the fans are fans of. Just in general, doing it in such a way where it isn't a complete shit show, just to shill for their bullshit.
Well, the first step in them being able to do that is put out a good product that's actually worth watching, that isn't just a political talking point soapbox.
Well,
Like-
this is where I think Disney blurred the lines, just like CW did. Everyone has to be a fucking lesbian.
No, you can do diversity and inclusion without affecting every damn character on screen.
I'm sorry, but that started with Solo.
You think?
But that's also the old Disney leads. That's the old, or rather, it's the mid-production Disney leads now that have been trying to push more of that shit.
Yeah,
It's
whereas
up and comers.
when you look at Mandalorian actually grew a fan base and a following that it did because it just told a good story.
Yeah, but that's because you had a different producer, different writers, different
Right.
directors. You didn't have Kathleen in charge of that one.
And
No.
she won't really be in charge from now on either.
I think the Force just turned back to, the Force is the fans.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is, their first step, they already should have noticed it in a few things, is if you tell a good story and put out a good show actually worth watching, we will watch it and we will enjoy it. It's when you start putting character traits instead of story as your primary talking point and what you're pushing, that's when there are issues, because you're not actually setting things up. You're not actually putting forth a product that is worth watching or worth rewatching. Like, I would have no complaint to fucking end the stream right now, hop into Discord, and start watching The Mandalorian right now. Even though I've seen the entirety of both seasons, I could enjoy watching it again right now.
I'd rather watch Farscape. But anyway.
Or that. But it just goes to show that when you put out a entertainment media product that people can rewatch and have that enjoyment and have that connection with,
Oh, speaking of
that's
which,
how you
I think
that's how you know you've got it right.
I saw something on, I think it was actually Amazon Prime. Lex.
Wait, old Lex, or is it some new kind of
Old
remake
Lex.
bullshit?
Old Lex was on Amazon Prime. I think it was on Amazon Prime.
Well, how about that for a ship design?
Yeah, but I'm like, what? Wow. No, I saw it. It said, you might like. I'm like, oh. Later. I'll watch that later.
Have they remastered it, or is it just?
I think
By
it's just been
Netflix.
upgraded to 4K. That's all.
I'm okay with that too.
Well, and that's the thing. There are a number of shows that have been floated out that they're getting remakes when all they really need is that just a
Okay.
graphics update. Like, you don't need to remake Babylon 5. Just clean up the visuals. Put it through the AI smart rescaling to make it look better and more visually appealing on the newer and higher quality TVs we have now.
But
And then
here's the
call
thing.
it fucking good.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Most of the stuff that you see from the late 90s, or even mid 90s, would have been filmed in what would be a 1080p aspect. 16:9, right? All they've done is clean it up.
That's not everything, because keeping with Star Trek for the moment, we have the remaster of the original series and remaster of TNG for a Blu-ray release for the Ultra HD release. Because they had the means and they had all the assets necessary to be able to go through the work and redo it. Because of the change in how they were filming the bulk of DS9 and Voyager, that's why we haven't gotten those. Because the amount of work it took to do TNG is easily going to be tripled to do DS9 because of how things were filmed and how things were edited then versus how they were done just a couple years prior. They don't have as many individual masters anymore of DS9 and Voyager to work from, to where they filmed it in that ultra high def and then downscaled it for TV. That's not how they did DS9 and Voyager. The scaling they shot on was a scaling that it got broadcast at, unfortunately.
Voyager went to letterbox filming, I think it was season 7.
So they don't have the means to do the work as well, nearly as well. And because of that, because of the increased work they would have to go through, this is one of the few times I'll agree with the studios. It is not financially feasible for them to put in the work for the return that they would get, because they wouldn't be able to charge double of what they did for the TNG remaster box set. And they would, to pay the work, they would have to at least double the cost.
Yeah, but they'd make the money. The amount of Voyager fans out there that would be willing, and DS9 willing to buy that. It would make them so much money.
Would you buy the box set at $400 to $500 US?
I wouldn't now. Look, if you can stream it in that upscaled version, why would you?
But that's the thing is, the streaming aspect, they get less per instance of it. They don't get paid per bit. They sell the license for the streaming activity on it, and then they don't get to bill based on how many people view it or how much viewing it gets. It's a blanket, we're letting you stream it for this period of time at
Here's
this rate.
$5 million to allow you to stream it.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is that financial side of it where it really... It's not as easy of a judgment as it was with TNG, because when they did TNG, streaming services were in their infancy, and most of the people who were going to be getting the result of the product were going to be either through the original iteration of Netflix, where they were mailing you DVDs, or they were buying the DVD box set themselves. So
Yeah.
that had more of that higher likelihood of return on investment for them to justify doing the work.
But I have a theory, or a hypothesis. So think of it like this: how long did it take for VHS to actually die off? I know people still use it, but that's more of a niche market now.
Yeah, it's still niche, but it took a good 10, 15 years.
And the same thing is about to happen with optical discs. Now that everything's able to be got digitally, like the majority of the games that I have on my computer, my PlayStation, I could get it through Game Pass or Steam and just download it, or through PlayStation Store. I mean, I've got Xbox Live on my PC. I don't need an Xbox because I can play Xbox Live, Xbox Game Pass games with my PlayStation controller through my computer. USB-C. Anyway,
Actually,
Before-
here's something to think about. What is actually going to determine the death of the optical disc for it is when we get a gaming console that doesn't have one.
oh, you mean like the PS5 digital?
No, I mean it's not even an option to have it on a generation.
The Steam Deck.
How
Steam
many?
Deck isn't really meant to be a game
It's a computer.
console the
It's
same way,
it's a
though.
it's a handheld computer.
Yeah, no. So I'm looking at. Let's look at the big players because where did Sony start? Sony started out as your basic media, entertainment, electronics, be it audio, visual. So they
They
saw
invented the CD.
yes, and that's where when Sony no longer offers a product line that has the optical drive, like when, like, say they do it on the PS7 or whatever, not the next generation but the one after, if there is no option to buy that generation with an optical drive, that's when you will know that the optical disc media is a dead medium. It'll be that niche market when you cannot get a version of of the same generation console with an optical drive.
Yeah, but as you can see, but even Xbox is moving down that path with the One S.
Yeah, it's a question of when are they going to stop providing it completely? And I agree with Sean Carroll on this one. I'd rather have the physical copies because the companies can cancel your electronic pass to play the game when they decide.
Speaking of that, having a physical copy won't really do shit when it comes to something that's actually always online, or that can be always online. Say, like the PS4, where there's already issues with PS4s not actually being able to play some games because the CMOS battery has died.
Oh, they fixed that with the latest update. Sorry.
Yeah, if you have the update, if you're able to actually get the shit.
Yeah, but actually, there's something I don't know if anyone has seen it here in Australia. They are basically making older tech obsolescence become a factor. If you've got anything older than like an iPhone 6 and down, or a PlayStation 3 and down, and stuff like that, if you don't have it updated to the latest software, so in other words, if you've jailbroken it, or you've modded it, or whatever, and you can't install updates on it, it will no longer be able to access the internet in Australia. Or it'll be limited severely.
Yeah, that's just bullshit, though.
What's their
No,
What's their justification for that one?
It's about security measures, because you know how you have like a particular chip on a motherboard or on a device that has a particular set of protocols for keeping you safe whilst online.
Oh, the nanny chip.
Yeah, older ones are becoming obsolete in the actual software that's used to keep you protected. In other words, their service life has run out and they need to fuck it off to create better software.
But who in that case actually decides what are we going to go for? What are we actually going to decide is obsolete right now?
They were basically saying anything prior to, I think it was 2006? Or, yeah, basically anything pre-2010, unless you've got to update it to your latest software and firmware, it's going to have issues connecting to the internet, especially via Wi-Fi or cable.
All under the guise of personal safety.
Yeah. So anyone still rocking an iPhone 4, they're most likely going to find they're going to have no connection at home.
Yeah, that's just some fucking bullshit.
Oh, sorry,
that's going to come.
We are starting to see a real fucking nanny state coming in here.
Starting to.
Well,
You're
until
worse
we
than
can,
fucking Britain.
well, until we can vote out the prick that fucking set the country on fire, yeah, we're stuck. We don't vote until next year.
Well, speaking of tech in nanny state, getting this back onto a bit more of the relevant topic, how much do you think that the actual Starfleet communicators are part of a similar type of setup? To where every conversation you have with someone, when you have that around you, when you have your comm badge, when you have your communicator near you, how much is that communicator's translation matrix messing with what you're actually saying?
Whilst on the ship, all conversations are logged.
Not just on the ship, though. As long as you have an active communication avenue between the comm badge and a Federation computer base, which can even be hopped through the tricorder.
Yeah, but I think someone actually said it. I'm not sure if it was in TNG or Voyager that it states all conversations had on this ship are
Essentially recorded, yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
not
think it
even
was
that,
Tom
though.
Paris was talking to someone and he made that jibe at Starfleet. Like, I can't even have a personal conversation. Someone could go back and listen. You know?
No, but even with that, though, you don't need a communicator. Remember the episode Little Green Men? They have subcutaneous fucking translated chips already there.
A number of people do. The Federation at least what they have said and established in canon is that the Universal Translator is, at least for Starfleet officers, is built into the communicator, which even when they're off duty, they have it on them in some way. Even if you can't see it, it's like tucked under a shirt or in a pocket somewhere if they're trying to be inconspicuous. But they still have it on, and they still have it on their person.
I still think that was one of the best scenes to see, watching them being able to start just tap their chest to activate their comm badge. Like, I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, it was a nice show of progression from TOS to that. Because in TOS, they didn't have the personal communicators. They had the comm panels throughout the ship, and they used essentially a PA system to page, and then that person would respond via the nearest comm panel, and then they had the handheld one when they went down. But then, then they added the comm badge to it, to where you can use the comm badge or a computer terminal if you're a visitor or if you're a civilian and not a Starfleet officer, because that was a big change between TOS and TNG as well. You now had non-Starfleet personnel aboard the ship. You had the families, you had the spouses, the children.
The non-coms. Yeah.
Not just non-coms, because they still, even in TOS, you still had your crewman, who is a non-commissioned, but you had civilians on board starting in TNG.
hang on. According to Starfleet, anyone working under the badge of Federation of Planets was commissioned by the Federation of Planets. Therefore, even if you're just a crewman, you're still commissioned. Go look it up. You know I'm right.
But there was still the civilian aspect.
Yeah, but
Generally,
you had to enlist in Starfleet, didn't you?
to be to be a crew member, unless you were in a position similar to Carol Marcus and David, where they were civilians. They were scientific civilians. They were not members of Starfleet, but worked with Starfleet. And you
Civilian R&D.
Yeah, and you have a similar thing in TNG where you have civilian scientists, you have civilian spouses working
Geordi's
on
crush.
not just Leah Brahms, but also look at Keiko. Keiko was on the Enterprise as a civilian botanist.
I do have a serious question though. So from Into Darkness, do you not think that Carol Marcus was hot?
Oh, Alice Eve. Oof.
Yeah.
It was such a gratuitous scene, but I'm not complaining about it.
Yeah, sorry, my misogyny got the best of me with that one. Like when you just look at her and you just go, "They put that in the movie? Yay! It doesn't suck so bad now."
Leon, you can go to hell for that one.
Maybe.
Hey, at least the backside of that game piece is somewhat clean and easier to follow.
It beats Connect Floor.
Connect Floor, that's a sailor's dream game. What are you talking about? Especially when you hit a port.
My son
I
just
mean-
got 2-player Tetris, like it's actual physical game. Have you seen it?
I have not.
So you've got blue and orange pieces, and you have to try and get a line, and then you mark down who gets each line, and then whoever has the most lines wins. But it's done like Connect 4, but it's just Tetris.
Interesting.
Going back to just ship designs and starship designs, etc. though, why in the fuck do you have some of those really out there designs when it comes to, say, for example, the Romulans?
Are you talking like the holographic bug?
No, I mean Romulan starships with the entirety of, let's make it like a lot of ship around this place or this space in the center.
Oh,
Hold
the
on.
Pterodactyls.
Or the eagle moss, or the warbird, or most of them actually.
The Warbird was at least one continuous hull. The ones that
Oh, for fuck's sake.
the design that really was a head scratcher to me was the Pterodactyls, where you have the massive head area with the twin spar neck to two parallel wings that are only connected by a little bit on the ass end and the nacelles at the outer end. I mean, the rest of the designs by comparison were to me were tame. Although I put the scimitar in its own special area. That looks like the bridge from Insurrection. From the Sona.
Yeah.
Actually, speaking of bridges, anyone remember the bridge from Galaxy Quest?
Yes.
Do you remember the captain's chair had those armrests that would flop down over his legs?
Which they also had on the refit Enterprise.
Yeah. Why didn't that continue?
They got better inertial dampeners.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but a physical collision doesn't stop your inertia. Doesn't help when you've got just inertial dampeners, which all they're doing is creating a magnetic force that repels you. Anyway, sure the parking brake isn't on.
That's an external inertial dampener.
Yeah, see, Klingons knew what to do. Keep it close so you've got something to grab onto when you're shaking about in the bird of prey.
That wasn't just the bridge of the bird of prey, though. It wasn't much different for the Vorchak class either. Although the only bridge of the Vorchak class that we actually go into is the one with Gowron when he tried to pick up Worf in DS9.
Or unless you play Klingon faction in Star Trek
STO,
Online. Yeah. You actually see many different bridge configurations for Klingon vessels.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Sorry, what? Sorry, I didn't know you hated Klingons so much.
No, I think he
Not that.
found something.
How many of you know about space cases?
What do you mean, space cases?
The space cases, it was a show, it had dual state.
Oh,
I know of her. I don't recall the show.
Okay, so let's see here. Okay,
I
that
got
links
it.
work. The last link there was the spaceship in it, the Krista, or just Krista. The first image, though, is supposed to be a render about or render of what they really wanted it to be to begin with.
Alright, hold on. I'm getting both of them pulled up here.
Oh, so we have a difference in the artist's intent and what he actually got.
Yeah, and one of them looks like the Firefly fucked a Tyranid.
Okay. I'm interested in seeing that since you put it that way, because that could go many, many ways.
Yeah, see, that's the original Krista. Which is, that's the one that actually got to the show proper.
So that's what they got on the show,
Yeah,
and that's what they wanted.
pretty much. It was the pilot one at least. Which that one is... It's a fucking kids show. That one looks like it came out of fucking Nightmare scenario.
Yeah, looks like Moya got raped.
No, I can see the connection to the Serenity from Firefly in that first one.
But that one... Sorry.
Wow.
It looks like one of the... do you remember the Zerg workers from StarCraft?
Yeah.
It does a bit.
The fucking
Like
crabs.
the claws. Yeah.
Yeah, that's somewhat slightly uncanny.
Actually, I know of a ship. I mean, it's from a cartoon, but a ship where the bridge had to be on top for a particular reason.
Oh, the Ferengi Bridge.
Anyone remember Battle of the Planets?
Barely?
Otherwise known as Gotcha Man?
I am not familiar with that.
Casey Kasem was the voice of Jason. You had Mark, Jason, Tiny, Princess, and Keop. You don't remember that show?
I have not seen it.
Oh my god.
What year did it come out?
I recognize it.
Late 70s.
Yeah, see, I was born in 83.
Oh, you are a millennial. Oh, so you are gay. Anyway. I lived through pop culture.
You weren't supposed to share that with anyone. That was supposed to be our secret.
There we go. Thank you very much. So, their ship, the Fiery Phoenix, the bridge was on top because the back section could actually break away and become a separate ship. So it was right on top of the ship.
So, kind of like how the Enterprise D can actually separate without needing an additional support structure to reconnect. So you have the main bridge in the saucer and the battle bridge at the top of the neck.
Ah, no. Okay, so here's the interesting thing, right? So, from that ship of Battle of the Planets, Jason's car would be in the nose cone, and it would drop it down from there. Princess's motorbike and Keop's little rover would be in the baubles on the end of the wings. Mark, is it Mark? Yeah, his plane is in the back, but there's also another section
right here. This shows it pretty decently.
Yeah. So see that top section that's got the red point?
Yeah, that's a separate ship.
Yeah, but that's where the bridge is, up there. So, and that's the plane that actually makes the top tail wing. If you actually see how there's the extra wing up the top. Yeah, that's the plane that pulls out from the back.
Yep.
It's a crazy design. Yeah, but it's such a crazy but how simplistic though, that everything fits in it. You've got escape routes. It's so clever, and that was from the 70s. What the hell is that?
I have no clue.
It looks like someone took an iron to it.
It's called the Beijing class, so I mean the Chinese do funky things.
Even though it's all in Russian or the Cyrillic alphabet.
Yeah, I just
What's this?
that isn't far off from what the Tiger Claw was actually supposed to look like in Wing Commander.
Out of the UNSC.
It's from
Halo.
Yeah.
I still think that we need an honorary mention, even though this is somewhat mostly atmospheric flight.
Gonna need a bit more of a primer than that.
The link.
Oh, hold on.
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Darkwing.
You just remember, Jared, any landing you can walk away from is a good landing.
Just call it falling with style.
Oh, for what that show was and what that character was, I can't complain.
It was fucking brilliant, though.
Yeah, but he was
It
a
was
cross
so
between.
silly.
Yeah, he was a cross between the Shadow and Batman mixed with bumbling idiot.
With DuckTales.
Yeah.
No, that show though, they managed to make a show that it wasn't even fucking episodic. They couldn't decide in the fucking episode what was going on. To the point where Darkwing Duck has told his fucking origin story, was it 4 or 5 times?
And it's different.
And it's different every single fucking time.
That was the catch.
Which is... It's an amazing fucking show.
It's impossible.
Especially when they then start involving shit like... what was his name? Negaduck?
Yeah.
Everything like that too. I missed that show. It was a silly, silly show.
It's on Disney Plus.
Okay, what is that?
It looks like Micro Machines.
This is
Everything's
a
dildo if you're
spin-off
brave enough.
of the of Transformers by Tonka called the GoBots.
Oh yeah. Oh,
That's what I was.
I used to have this this particular character. I bought it off of eBay. I bought a whole bunch of them at one point off of eBay.
They look so much like machine men. Sorry.
That's kind of the point. So
Yeah.
basically, you're getting things to start tormenting Tech with when we go on air for VTW.
Oh, why wait? Let's just start it now.
Yeah, so
It's
look
with
at
the perfect
those.
pack lids.
Yeah, but have you got machine men? Do you remember them?
Okay. Let's do.
Watch how similar they look.
Oh yeah.
We don't want the. We don't. No, not machine man. Men.
That's
Why
what
did it do that? Fucking Marvel. You.
Blame
That's
Google.
what
Oh,
happens.
jeez.
You talking about like this?
Yes.
I'm just happy there's no porn yet.
I think I have the safe
Safe
set.
search us on, yeah. Probably a good idea.
I saved that. I saved the non-safe search function for other browsers.
Like Brave.
For Veterans Talk Weekly.
Yeah.
I like how I'm doing machine and then it goes to that.
If you
Yeah.
were to go to shopping,
Here we go.
yeah,
Hey,
it's GoBots.
it's the GoBots. The same thing, just different. Just different brands.
Gotta love Bandai. And oh look, they went with the F-15 too.
But hang on. Are you saying that the GoBots and the machine men are the same thing?
They are.
Uh-oh.
Wait, they
Huh?
renamed things for a different international market? Les shock.
I'm more liking the Blackbird and the A10 there.
Yeah, I'm with Leon. Who said they could build a plane around a gun?
What do you mean you want this gun to fly? I want this gun to fucking fly. But why? Shh, don't worry, we'll find a role for it.
Actually, I did see a video of a A10 strafing a tank. It was like, it just destroyed it. It's the best
Wait
thing.
a minute.
The
What?
sound.
Wait,
Sorry.
what gun do you want to use? This one. And it fires what? This. Is that depleted uranium? What are you trying to do? Kill a tank? You got it.
Yes. Otherwise known as the tank buster.
I mean, if you really want to fuck with someone, why would you not use a fucking 30mm or caliber 30mm hydraulically driven 7-barrel Gatling style auto cannon? It
Because you
flies
would go.
so fucking fast that it has to be mounted off center in the fucking airplane. Because
its
if it had
twist.
been mounted straight, it would have fucking twisted the plane. It fires so fucking fast that if you're unlucky with it, you can stall the airplane.
Look at the Vulcan cannon. Look at the amount of stabilizers that fucking thing needs because
Yeah.
of the vibration.
Now, Sean Carroll does have a point here. If the Orcs were to design an aircraft, it would be the A-10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the A10 is a huge fucking gun in a fuselage.
It's the
with some
ultimate
wings
DACA.
and just- yeah, but with some wings and then a pair of huge fucking engines on it. It's the essential, quintessential, just fuck you gun.
Well, it's basically they decided, well, we don't know where to put the engines. Fuck it, we'll just mount them on the back.
The A10 is a tank in the air. That's all it is.
Yeah.
I just find it funny though. What is it? It has two firing settings. The first one being what, 1,100 rounds per minute, and the second being what, 4,000 rounds a minute.
I can't remember. We would actually have to. Who
I
was it?
I reckon
Mirai
the switch
Vegeta?
says, yeah, I reckon the switch says "fuck you" and then "I'm really gonna fuck you up."
No. Your slow speed option is fuck you. The high speed option is no, seriously, motherfucker, eat shit.
No, eat my depleted uranium shells.
It has a rate of fire of 3,900 rounds per minute. Just to put that into perspective, that's a fuck ton.
Divide that by 60.
Hang on, I got the calculator open. What was that initial number? 3,000 what?
3,900.
You're looking at about 600 rounds a second.
No. 65 rounds a second. It is firing. Hang on, so let's.
Hang on, that doesn't sound right.
If it's 3,900 rounds a minute divided by 60, that's 65 rounds a second.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like 2 clips from an AK-47 in a second.
It's a lot of DACA.
A
lot
Daka.
of DACA.
That's why you can affectionately call it the Burt.
But the
Yeah.
good thing about the good thing about the Warthog is that if you can hear them, it means
You're
that
okay.
you weren't the target. If you were the target, you'll never hear the fucking. Why did they not have the A10 in Star Trek? Or the equivalent of the A10 in Star Trek?
It was called the Defiant.
The Defiant is still a bit weak when it comes to that.
It had
The A10
it
would-
had reinforced front hull. So
It had the ablative armor, it had the reinforced hull, it had the quantum torpedoes, which was actually the first ship to use them on screen. Excuse me. Before the Enterprise E. And it didn't just had phasers, it had pulsed phase cannons.
It was something like the A10. The equivalent would be something like a shuttle with beefed to fuck up nacelles and just more power that way. And then as many fucking pulse cannons, etc., it could just fit in the front of it.
so basically
Aiming
you're
at
saying,
some-
sorry Leon, you're
Oh.
saying put all the Defiant's armory onto a runabout.
no.
No, Maquis Raider.
The Delta Flyer with an armament to it.
Pretty much that, yes. All the armament to it.
So, the end of Voyager.
Pretty
Yes,
much,
Pretty much.
but better.
I mean,
And
if
then
you think
you-
about it, it's got the stout stebbiness that is the A10 Warthog. Yeah.
Yeah, but the Delta Flyer had some initial durability issues.
Oh, come on now.
Look at the runabout though.
Now, here's the question. Would you have sided with Tom or B'Elanna when it came to the spoilers?
I have to side with Tom on that one. Come on now. Gotta have spoilers.
But to the size that he wanted them?
Go big or go home.
Yeah, it's got to look good.
See the attack now.
Yeah, but when you're trying to make people look shit, you got to make your stuff look good. If you ain't first, you're last.
Oh wait, not attack. It's the. Oh, is it Katesh?
The bomber? Alkesh.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, the transport bomber from the Goa'uld. It does.
Yeah.
It does have the lines of that.
Actually, the Delta Flyer reminds me of the foot of the ED-209. But anyway.
ED-209?
Anyone? Anyone? You have 20 seconds to comply.
That from RoboCop 2.
Robocop 1 too.
Yeah.
My goodness.
He just can't handle stairs. I would so love a just remastered version of Robocop. Just being slightly more cleaned up.
Yeah.
Look at the foot. Look at the foot. It's a Delta Flyer.
Yeah. And think, they took those movies and tried to make it into a kid's cartoon.
Yeah, it had a whole season.
Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid. And now looking back on it, it's like, wait, this was on Saturday morning TV? No wonder why we're so fucked up.
But anyway, just to make you feel really, really cool, RoboCop 3, an actual, real RoboCop 3, not the crap that Disney put out. It's going back to the original writers, and guess who's doing the voice?
They're getting Peter Weller back?
Yep. Oh, look, Brave Star. Yeah. That was so wrong.
Yeah, thing.
The fuck is that gun supposed to be?
It's...
I think he got it from DeWalt.
Or did DeWalt get it from him?
Maybe. What the hell? Is that bat? Oh, no. Oh, no. I know what that show is.
At least he picked Starscream to make fun of.
That was Megatron.
No, Megatron was down in the corner, but what character was he dressed up as? Yelling at Megatron. Starscream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually something that we might need to bring up later on too.
What,
The design of different tools in different sci-fi franchises.
Mm.
No.
Are they meant to actually be used, or are they just set dressing?
I think... It depends. Are we going to get into the most important device in all of sci-fi?
The plot device?
No, actual device. What piece of set dressing has made the most appearances in all of sci-fi? Because it has shown up in damn near every sci-fi franchise.
Oh, multi-tool. It's basically a multi-tool. Yeah?
The sonic screwdriver is the ultimate multi-tool. I did not like that
Except for
version.
wood.
Yeah. How can you use it as a hammer?
Sonic
Great
percussion.
force.
I'm sorry, that would snap with the stuff I do. And I can't use it as a clamp. So it's not really a multi-tool, is it?
It is, if you're brave enough.
Well, can I use it to pick up that hot piece of molten metal?
If you're brave enough.
Oh, so it doesn't work like pliers. Okay.
Again, it all depends on the settings you're using.
Show me the plier setting on a sonic screwdriver.
Twin emitters. Sandwich it. Levitate it.
But which would actually be, not counting for the sonic screwdriver now, the most versatile tool in general? A lightsaber or a phaser?
Miles O'Brien.
Something, the hand that holds it.
You know,
I'd actually say the multi-phase phaser.
yeah, I would have to go with the phaser because from what we've seen, lightsabers are an on or off proposition, where a phaser you can adjust power level and beam width. So
Yeah, and was it continuity of the beam?
yeah.
Is there something I'll say though that
Oh,
with
no.
something like a lightsaber, it at least has a more confined area.
Is that lower decks?
Yes.
That is. And this is a great meme.
Yeah, but think about it. You could use a phaser as a welder, as a cutting torch, as a
heating element.
yeah.
But you can do all those with a lightsaber too.
But with the precision, again, on a phaser, you can adjust area, you can adjust power level, you can adjust the actual energy transmission time. A lightsaber, unless you dismantle it, readjust, and put it back together, it's on or off.
No, there's
with
settings
that,
to adjust the blade length and width on there.
And how strong
but-
you want magnetic field to be.
Yeah, but I don't think you're going to be able to change the actual amperage value on a lightsaber.
Well, here, I'm going off of actual on-screen alpha canon. There have been instances where the beam settings of a phaser have been adjusted, and a phaser has been used to heat up rocks to provide a heat source. Where has something like that been done with a lightsaber?
You can weld with a lightsaber.
You can weld with a phaser, and you can cut with a phaser.
Yeah, I mean, if you can weld with a lightsaber, you can create a heat source with it.
But you can also stun with a phaser.
Well, if you just use a pommel, smack them hard enough,
You can do it at a distance with a phaser.
you can end them rightly with the pommel of a lightsaber.
You could throw the lightsaber and have it hit somebody, specifically who you want, at a distance. There's this thing called the Force.
Yeah, but you got to hope the fucker doesn't catch it. Yeah.
But that's not the tool doing it. That is you doing it.
Yeah. So now you're
You still have to aim the
tool.
phaser and pull the quote unquote
Yeah.
trigger of the phaser.
But
It's the
you're,
same thing.
No. Oh my god.
Which,
Jared,
how the fuck
what are we gonna do
you
with these
aim a
two?
phaser? There's
the
no
thing is, you can-
sights on them.
Actually, you can set a timer on a phaser and set it up in a way that it'll fire on its own. Ah.
No, I'll give you that. Yes.
Because I saw that in both Voyager and TNG.
Yeah, frickin' Wesley.
Yeah,
Shut up,
fuck
Wesley.
that guy.
There are worse things in the world than Wesley sometimes. Not many.
Jar Jar.
I think that Jar Jar wasn't actually a bad character. Just
Jar
really
Jar's a Sith
underdeveloped.
Lord.
Underdeveloped and not properly utilized.
I was gonna say,
like Wesley Crusher.
Other than Wesley Chrysler, there's also the life of Miles O'Brien.
That poor bastard.
Oh dear.
Especially since you couldn't notice that his holodeck mate was a changeling for 3 months. Was it 3 months? 6 months?
Something like that.
Yeah.
But then again, it kind of says something about O'Brien that he doesn't notice that the person that he's closest to, apart from his wife and family, was a fucking changeling for that fucking long, for months. And the only
Something
thing
didn't
that,
give him a clue, you know?
yeah, but the only thing that he noticed there that was anything at all that he actually picked up on was that he wasn't as annoying. What's that say about you as a person, though? Both from Miles' side and from fucking Bashir's side.
Bashir, and you know what? Looking back on it, we as viewers and a fandom should have noticed and not been as surprised when it was revealed that Bashir was being impersonated by a changeling. Because, admit it, when that revelation was made, when that was put out there, you guys all started thinking back. It's like, wait a minute. Yeah, he hasn't been as annoying for a while now.
Yeah. When you get there and DS9, you're like, oh shit. Miles is right. He wasn't as annoying. How did we not pick that up?
But sometimes it just feels so nice not to have someone being really fucking annoying all the time, too. Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, what you
I
find
have
now.
something. Fun stuff.
Uh-oh. Oh, God.
The lock-breaking lights. Oh. Oh.
Oh, God. And it's from the U.S. Air Force, too.
Yeah.
Hold on, Jared. He's interrupting my catching up on Twitter time for this.
Wait, it's from the Air Force. We're already going to be shitting on them in the next hour, so you know what? Let's go ahead and pick it up early.
Exactly. Especially when you read the labels on it, Jared.
Professional use only. What the fuck?
No, the Air Force is professional.
I would so love to see this actually in use.
So
this is the video, I think.
Oh.
An ad on here.
Yay, advertisement without a skip option, you fucking bastard.
There's your skip option.
Well, at least for us. But not really, because it doesn't just go right into the content. We still have to wait for it to be done playing. Why must they try to advertise everything they can?
Because we're assholes.
This is basically what it is.
It's a prolonged shape charge.
Yeah.
Which I am okay with that. I am very okay with that.
That's not much different than what Qui-Gon did in episode 1.
Pretty much, yes. Now, we need this, but larger.
But would you trust anyone with it?
No. Do I have to? Not necessarily. I still want one.
Yeah.
A directed thermite cartridge.
Yeah. It looks cool. It looks like it'd be fun, but 2 seconds, that's all it's got.
Hey, sometimes 2 seconds is all you need.
That's what she said.
2 seconds, switch cartridge, 2 more seconds.
Oh, no. That's what she complained about.
I don't know. I thought we weren't talking about KJ. Sorry. You softballed that one there, Jared.
Yeah.
This same contact or same company sells breaching charges for shotguns.
Interesting. Is there a charge? Is there a type of shotgun ammunition that can't be used as a breaching device?
A rock sword. Unless you want to breach someone's ass.
Well, for a second there, I thought you were going to mention birdshot, but even that can go through an internal door if need be.
Close enough or filled with wax. Nah,
He
never
hasn't
mind.
caught on that cats are the master race, has he?
And it is the Meowpocalypse.
We need to watch Equilibrium though.
God, I've not watched that in forever.
Is that the one with Christian Bale?
Yes,
That
is very much that one.
Oh.
And what else would we have coming up this week?
Potentially one of the Planet of the Apes ones. Other than that, I'm not actually sure. We have like 500 different fucking movies on the list. I essentially just keep going.
Yeah, the extent of the movies that have been suggested that people are like, oh, we should watch this. Some of us have things to do away from the computer, or else, you know, if we were to sit down and try to watch everything that's on the list, we figured it would take, what, a year to get caught up?
It would take more than that.
Yeah, it's almost as if.
And
some of
that's
us
watching
don't
it
have-
every fucking day.
Yeah, it's like some of us don't have lives.
But at this point, I've almost given up the whole voting thing. Because I don't trust people voting, and because people usually don't complain when I just pick the movies anyway. Mostly because they can't really complain. Because reasons.
Well, no, here's the thing, guys. You can voice your opinion, and the opinion will be listened to. I just can't make any guarantee that it'll affect what we're watching that night. But it might have an effect on the next week.
Maybe. If we're real charitable.
I did say might.
There's nothing charitable about us.
But we try at times.
And we
It's
try
just-
to be charitable, and people screw it up, so everyone has to suffer the consequences.
Let's watch grass grow.
I think
We
we've
have
done that.
No, we've done the paint.
We have the option to do it.
I've got one for you. You can watch flat earthers eat paint chips.
We spent 5 years doing that. We don't need to do that anymore.
Oh well, now they're starting to eat Prussian blue paint.
Oh, okay.
What?
Some reason this makes me think, Ed, what?
Well, for those of the unlearned, you know what it is, right?
Something
Do you
tells
mean
me
the
I
date?
don't want to know.
Do you mean for the court date, or for the actual thing where that comes from?
Prussian blue.
Yeah, something tells me I don't want to know the origin of that.
If I mentioned the term Zyklon B, would that give you a bit of a
Oh,
clue?
Jesus fucking Christ. See, this is why I knew there is part of me that knew where it was going, and it was like, no, don't ask. It's like, oh, see? I told you don't ask, motherfucker.
Or would I say Dr. Leuchter? Do you know who he is?
Now, if they are actually legitimately going towards that sort of stuff, do we stop
no.
them?
It's not legitimate. It's a wish.
Oh, okay. Because I am inclined to let the stupid just find ways like that to remove themselves from the equation.
Yeah, well, it's funny. I don't know how it is. They go, "Oh, we've been coming here teaching you flat Earth for 6 years. You've learnt nothing," and it's like,
Now you know how your teachers felt through primary school.
and high school, and anyone that's given you an induction.
What you find now, Leon?
Uh-oh.
Yes, that's a dangerous sound.
It's on Imager.
I'll save us with the tweet first.
You might have to before the rest.
My goodness.
Don't worry, I've got it. It's ready to go. Jared, just so you know, I warmed us up with the Beagles.
Okay.
Cannot unsee that.
Oh my god.
Back to the Beagles.
Oh dear.
So that's how it's going to be tonight, huh?
Pretty
Yes.
much.
Wow, I'm glad after this I actually have to go out and get some fuel additive to, yeah.
That sounds like the worst fucking excuse for wanting to get away.
Well, oh no, but there is a backstory.
Oh, there's always a backstory.
Yeah, so in 2019 I parked up my my V8 because fuel prices were near $2 a litre here. And of course it loves chewing fuel. It's a V8. Anyway, the missus ended up buying like a $900 little piece of shit runaround car. And I would drive the family car to pick up the kids and do all that. Anyway, as I start my job, back at the beginning of August, her car starts shitting itself. I mean, for $900, it lasted 2 years. That's $450 a year. That's all right. Anyway, it finally dies, and she goes, "Well, I want to take the family car." I said, "Yeah, it's the diesel. It'll be more economical you going up that hill to go to work and all that sort of crap." So I had to unmothball the V8. It hasn't had a major run in over 2 years. I think the fuel system needs a bit of a clean.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's running. It runs fine. It's just I don't think it's dispersing the fuel correctly because the long-term fuel trim's off the charts.
So you said that it was $2 a liter?
At one stage, it was, yeah, like $1.91 a litre at one stage, yeah. And currently we're getting like $1.30 to $1.45. Oh, and during the pandemic, it was below $1. So like $4 a gallon.
Yeah, because at that price, you're looking at $7.50 a gallon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, exactly. But when we're paying $1 a litre, like we work on the 3.8 litre gallon, which I think is what yours is.
Yeah, it's essentially
Yeah, so we're paying-
39785.
Yeah, so we're paying like $3.75 a gallon, which in some of your states is a regular price. So, but because of our section of the OECD, shit goes bananas. You know, because we've got to sort of compete with Indonesia and China for fuel.
Yeah, I just. And yet people want to lose their damn minds when it goes to $4, almost $5 a gallon in some areas of the U.S.
I know, you're paying $1.20 a litre. Oh. Get a job.
Oh no, these are people with jobs in
Get a
California.
better job. Yeah,
Oh,
look,
speaking of
selling
California,
hats-
Jared, did you see
selling
the latest
hats.
Freedom Tunes about Gavin Newsom?
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, I will send you the link.
Oh, Gavin.
Oh, seeing as that conversation is starting to pivot, we are coming up on the 2-hour mark, and I'm going to get something to eat before I bring the rest of the fuckers onto the panel, so yeah, we're gonna take this bit off air, and we will catch you all back live in a little over a half hour.
Bye.
Any parting thoughts about anything actually related to the stream, which could be anything at this point?
Yeah, because the D was surprisingly large.
Yep, that's about what I thought.